Welcome to Crib Talk, a podcast with a bunch of friends who live together talking about the game of basketball. I'm Connor. To my right is Moussa, Melkam, and Caleb. We're going to talk about the All-Star starters and our All-Star reserves, but first we're going to talk about the Christmas games and what we thought about them. So Caleb, what were your thoughts on the Sixers-Knicks game to start off the day yesterday?
All right. First off, the Sixers, I think with this game, they're solidifying the duo between Embiid and Harden. They're on an 8-game win streak, and I think they're contenders for sure. I think they're top five. Top five, there's a tier right there.
Yeah, and to think that they don't even have Maxey right now, and that they already did that well against the Knicks, who are on fire as of now.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna agree. They don't even have Maxey right now with the 8-game win streak, and Maxey averages almost the same amount of points as Harden. Generating the same offense.
More.
Yeah. That's the one thing they're missing, bro. Is a second scorer behind when Harden's out and
when Maxey's back, they're gonna be scary. They're gonna be a certified contender after this hot streak they've been on. And to think that they also have Tobias Harris that can go off on any given night.
Right.
He has been averaging his lowest points per game since 2016, but this is also his most efficient year of his career. So if he just started to shoot the ball a little bit more, they could rely on him. That could add to their game.
Yeah, and he's also playing in the best offense that he's ever played in. So naturally he's not going to score as many points, but I think that he's just going to be a good addition as a fourth scorer on the team, especially come playoff time. In the East, it's just going to be so competitive. But Tobias Harris is going to be nice.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how Maxey and Harden work together, because we saw it for a little bit at the start of the year, but Harden went out with a knee injury, and he just got back, and now Maxey's out. So if they can mesh well together, all of them, it's going to be scary for the East.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Knicks. They put up a fight. Julius Randle looking good, shooting with confidence. I also like Jalen Brunson really getting to his spots and facilitating and get the rest of the Knicks involved. What do you guys think about the New York Knicks?
Yeah, they definitely haven't been the same as they were a couple years ago, but they've definitely had moments this season. Julius Randle has definitely had a great season so far, and definitely has got his footing back since the beginning of the year. And the Knicks definitely looked good.
Yeah, I think they've had young pieces, and they've had Julius Randle the last few years, but I think Brunson really facilitates their offense well, and he's bringing in 20 points a game. He's bringing in the assists, and I feel like that's what they need if they want to get in the playoffs and make a run.
Yeah, and RJ Barrett, 6 for 21 from the field. He's an inconsistent player. We'll say that.
Yeah.
He had 44 the other night, and then shot 28% from this game. So I think he might make the All-Star team. That's his top.
That's his ceiling, his potential.
That's his ceiling, his potential.
Yeah, not much more.
One
than that.
maybe. Yeah.
He has the skills. He just needs to pull together the efficiency and the shot selection in order to be great.
Yeah.
I also like that the Knicks, they gave Quentin Grimes 38 minutes. He's definitely their best defender, or their guard defender on the team.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he's a shooter too.
Yeah, he's a good player, underrated for sure.
Yeah, same with Emmanuel Quickly. He's really been having a really step up season, shooting the ball, and he showed it last night, or I guess last morning.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the Lakers Mavericks game. LeBron had to do it all against Mavericks team with Luka having a borderline MVP season.
Yeah. It's definitely the battle of no help, especially without AD. LeBron has essentially no help. Without Anthony Davis playing, the tallest guy on the roster last night was 6'10", and Christian Wood gave them what was it? I don't know. Christian Wood cooked them, and they had no bigs. They had Lonnie Walker, Pat Bev, and Russ in.
Yeah,
at
they
the
had
same
a
time.
5-guard lineup in the middle of the third quarter.
Yeah,
which is absolutely crazy because they were playing against Christian Wood, who was just going crazy against them.
Yeah, when your leading rebounders Wendy and Gabriel, you need to change something.
They have guys that really shouldn't be in the league right now.
Yeah,
Troy Brown Jr. was on the Bulls last season. I got to watch him almost every game. He should not be getting PT on an NBA team right now.
Yeah,
and they have a bunch of guys on that same level getting minutes, which is just sad because it's wasting LeBron's prime.
Yeah, and AD, especially him coming back in playing so well, the fact that the roster that they have around them too has just been so bad consistently this year really sucks to see AD come back and play so well. And the Lakers just like have glimpse of lights with AD, but just look horrible without him.
Yeah, and to think that they won a championship a few years ago,
Yeah.
and they had solid pieces around them. They had Kyle Kuzma, who's now a borderline all-star, putting up over 20 points a game. Yeah, they also had
Julius
they have?
Randle before the
Julius
chip.
Randle before the trade.
BI.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram. Who do they have on the KCP having a solid season on the
KCP.
Nuggets right now.
Great
A
shooter.
3-and-D guy. Shooting over 40%, I believe. From three.
Around there.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah. Just to think what the Lakers could have had. So yeah, let's talk about the Mavericks. That boy Luka balling out.
He's that guy.
He is that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Mavs, I saw a stat and said when Christian Wood starts, they're 3-0. I think when Christian Wood starts, they're actually like, they could be a good playoff team. They could definitely take out a team just because Luka, when it's the playoffs, he becomes like the best player in the NBA, arguably.
Yeah, because when they don't have another scorer on the court with Luka, in the playoffs, they can just send another defender and then kind of like shrink the floor around Luka and make it difficult for him. But if they have another option in Christian Wood, that can really open up everything for Luka and make him even better.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of happening right now because Dorian Finney-Smith and Reggie Bullock, both of them are the most. They take the most open 3-point shots in the NBA, and Luka takes the most difficult shots in the NBA. So it kind of just shows how bad like Luka's teammates are, and they're shooting on 30% from three, and they're not very good at it. So yeah, Luka needs some help for sure.
I think that he's gotten a lot of help this year compared to last year. He had Porzingis, but Christian Wood's
Brunson.
very efficient. Tim Hardaway has been shooting lights out. He's hit 5 or more threes in 6 games this month. I think if his shooters are hitting and if Christian Wood is efficient and is starting, they can easily make a run to the finals.
Yeah, you have to say if their shooters are hitting, but this year they're just not hitting.
I think
They're not.
Hardaway's hitting, but
Yeah, this
It's
offense
Bullock.
reminds me a lot of the Houston Rockets teams back in the day with
yeah,
Harden.
just taking many
Yeah,
threes.
just having the centric style of basketball around Luka and having shooters around him. It's gonna come down to whether the shooters can shoot on any given night.
For sure.
Tim Hardaway had a great night shooting. He looked confident out there on the court. But yeah, these shooters, they got to make their shots consistently in order for the Mavs to win basketball games.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Luka definitely hasn't been, shooting like great percentile wise from three, but I saw something was like he was shooting the third deepest on average threes, like he's having to behind Damian Lillard and Stephen Curry because
Wow.
he is the center of their offense, kind of like you said James Harden was back in Houston. He's having to take more difficult shots, and so it's really reliant on whether his teammates can perform in the playoffs. Like we saw KP did not play well in the playoffs last year, or I guess that was last year. And so I think that if Christian Wood can be what they needed KP to be last year, then they can definitely do something in the playoffs.
Agreed. All right, moving on to the Bucks versus the Boston Celtics. Crazy game from Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Giannis also had a decent game. Okay, a little bit inefficient, but what can you do when you're missing your second star in Chris Middleton?
A bad game for Giannis.
I would say a bad game for Giannis as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, bad game still at 27 though.
Yeah. I would say that might be due to the fact he's taking on the burden of the entire offense on his back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he desperately needed Middleton. Middleton could really allow him to take the shots he wants to take instead of taking a lot of the shots that the offense can't really generate on their own.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is the Bucks' third straight loss, and I mean the offense just looks dead without Chris Middleton. Like seriously, Giannis obviously is having to generate the offense, but without Chris Middleton, they've struggled this year in general, 3-point wise, efficiency wise. They've been taking higher volume in threes, but they've been struggling 3-point wise, and they need to be shooting better to better fit Giannis come playoff time for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And yeah, how about the Celtics? Tatum looking unstoppable right now. His bag of moves is some of the best in the league.
Deep bag.
His fadeaway jumpers, his ability to get to the rim, his shot, his step backs. He can really do it all.
Yes, bro. 20 points in the
Efficiently.
third quarter. That's crazy.
14 for 22. I mean, when your team shoots 58% from the field and 48 for 3, you can't really lose. They put up 139. That's not going to be stopped by anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they made 19 threes. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the Bucks defense didn't look, like they have shown that they've been able to, but you can't really do anything when the Celtics are just shooting lights out.
Yeah, I think the Celtics have made a statement with this game that they're still the favorites.
Yeah, they're
I'd
the
say to
team to
win.
beat.
Yeah, they're the team to beat in the finals. Tatum and Brown, they got great chemistry. They're the best duo in the NBA, I'd say. I think Al Horford, he's just a great matchup against Giannis. He's just a big, strong guy. Held Giannis to 27, which is it's all right, but there's only so much you can do against a superstar and the best player in the league.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, they definitely allow the people around them to get efficient looks. And they got shooters. They improved their roster over the offseason, getting Malcolm Brogdon. Robert Will is still coming back into the fold of things. It's crazy to think that they're only going to get better from here.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Grizzlies versus the Warriors. Game didn't go so well for our Grizzlies fan over here, Moussa.
Yeah.
Jaren got into foul trouble early.
Very early.
A little
Seems to
bit
be the
reminiscent
story.
of last
Yeah.
season. That boy was in foul trouble quite a few games. But yeah, it was Bane's second game back from his injury.
Yep, second game. back.
So he's still getting back into the swing of things. So what
Uh,
do you think about
explain.
it?
if anybody I'm worried about, it's Jaren fouling and then Taylor Jenkins just taking him out of the game. I feel like he needs to learn how to play with fouls because every single time he's fouled, he's just taken out of the game immediately. I'm not worried about Bane. The same thing happened at the start of the year. He was just cold, and then he just started averaging 25.
Yeah, I was
So-
about to mention, it wasn't like a few games going into his injury, he was averaging 25 points a game. He
Yeah.
started the season slow.
started
So it's kind of the
season
same
bad.
story.
I'm
Yeah.
not worried about him.
Mhm.
John Morant just played just about as good as he could have. Distributing, scoring, everything. But I think the main problem is our bench. Zaire
Yeah.
and John Concha are combining for 35 minutes and scoring 3 points
Their
total.
contract 0, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Santi
going to
Aldama-
need to
Santi
change.
Aldama was looking good though.
Santi-
Compared to the rest of the guys.
Santi Aldama played well. I think he got fouled on 3 of his 3-point shots by Draymond,
Yes,
and none of them
I
were
remember
called.
those. He
I
fell to
think
the ground like every single
The
time.
refs made it about them that game
Yeah.
both ways. It was
Yeah, there
It was
should not
hard
have
to
been that many
watch.
techs.
Yeah, what happened with the refs? I heard they were pretty bad.
Techs, and I heard
text
that
everywhere.
some of them was player to player, talking interactions.
Yeah, Kuminga
Yeah.
fouled and he
It's a rivalry.
yelled and got mad at himself really, and they teed him up. I mean, he's a young player. He has emotions. It's not about the refs. They don't come watch a Christmas game and expect to see refs.
Yeah,
That's not what they're here
even
for.
though it was Bane's second game back, still not the best look for a potential contender to lose to the Warriors without
Yeah,
Curry or
I mean,
Wiggins.
they shot the
Yeah.
lights out. So
They did shoot the lights
Yeah,
out.
they did. And honestly, I think that the Grizzlies are the team in the West that probably will improve the most throughout the season just
Yeah.
because Bane has been dealing with injuries. And then obviously, I mean, if Jaren can stay out of foul trouble, he's like the best defensive or one of the best defensive centers in the West. And so I think they'll be great come playoff time. And I want to see 7 games of this in the
Exactly.
playoffs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
entertaining. Just seeing
Very
Clay
entertaining.
just mocking Dylan Brooks in the middle of the court. It's a tough sight, but I know we'll see him again exactly in 1 month, January 25th, and then a few more times down
Wow.
end of this year. But
Yeah. I want to say I really liked the Warriors bench and the spot start from Dante DiVincenzo. He looked really nice.
yeah,
It's nice to see that talent finally developing.
Mhm.
From when he got drafted by the Bucks. Yeah, it didn't look like he was going to be in the league for a long time, but it's good to see. He had an efficient night. Also, Ty Jerome, a big third quarter. He was
Yeah.
looking crazy out there, looking like
he's
a
confident.
Thunder
bucket,
legend.
a bucket, to be
Yeah.
honest, a Thunder legend. You're right. Yeah. So, final game of the night, Suns Nuggets.
Barn
Went to
burner.
OT.
Mhm.
Banger of a game.
Amazing game.
Banger.
Great game.
Yeah, I think you got to give flowers to the Suns. They pushed the game to overtime, and they were
Right.
missing D Book.
Oh yeah. And Cam Johnson, right?
Yeah, and missing Cam Johnson.
And Cam Johnson.
Yeah, they forced it to overtime, and Landry Shamet, he was just hooping out there. He had 31 points, just
Bro, he
giving them
went
buckets.
Big
crazy.
shot after big
yes,
shot down
yeah.
the stretch to keep it close. I mean,
Yeah, him, Damian Lee, Chris Paul was playing well. Aiden was playing well.
Yeah, Chris Paul had
Yeah.
16 assists.
Crazy.
That's
Yeah.
wild. That's vintage Chris Paul.
Yeah, I
That's
think with
right.
D-Book, they're definitely up there in the West, top of the West. One of the best teams.
Yeah.
But yeah.
On the Nuggets side, they had 3 players with at least 25 points, with Jokic
Yeah.
having a legendary stat line of 41, 15,
Crazy.
and 15.
Yeah. No.
That's wild.
3-peat.
3P for MVP.
He definitely could be like a 3P contender. I mean, obviously it's going to be hard for him to get the 3P, but like he's been averaging
voter
he's been getting
fatigue
triple
might
doubles.
play
I
there.
mean, 40 points triple double is insane, and it seems like the team is just it looks egregiously bad with him not on the floor.
You're right. You're right. He opens up everything. He can really do it all. He has no weakness.
Mhm.
And he's not that athletic, but somehow he's good at literally every single part of basketball, which is wild.
Yeah.
Unicorn.
And it's also nice to see Jamal Murray playing, having some
Right.
good games, you know what I mean?
Confidence,
Because
yeah.
especially at the beginning of the season when he was kind of coming back into it, he definitely had a rough start. But it's nice to see him have some good games the last couple of weeks. He had 26 last night. And Aaron Gordon is pushing for a potential at the time All-Star
You're right.
appearance. That'd be nice to see.
I don't know, as a
28
snub.
from him.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. He's definitely been that guy this season. That pickup by the Nuggets. They've had some quality pickups, quality offseason acquisitions, whether it be two off seasons ago, this offseason, them picking up Bruce Brown, Aaron Gordon 2 seasons ago, and Christian Brown.
Great draft.
Yes, great draft. Great front office decisions by them. Yeah, they got some guys who can shoot the 3 and play defense surrounding Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Michael Porter Jr. did not have that good of a night. And they didn't need him to, which is a crazy thing
Mhm.
that they can have an off night and still pull out a win.
Yeah. I also just want to talk a little bit more about Aaron Gordon.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, definitely have an underrated year. 17 a game on the best efficiency of his career, guarding the best player on the court.
yep. He's a
I
clamp.
think, yeah, he's a clamp, and he just fits so perfectly with Jokic. It's just like the 2-man game they have with each other.
Mhm.
Aaron Gordon's the perfect cut guy for Jokic, perfect pop guy for Jokic. Yeah, it just shows how great Jokic is and how like he can just improve his teammates.
Yeah, especially I think having a guy that's so like dangerous on the cut like Aaron Gordon and
Mhm.
someone who also is capable of catching and shooting is perfect for the offense that Jokic runs best. And so with the ball in Jokic's hands, like you said, Aaron Gordon is a perfect fit. Especially with Jokic's, playmaking ability. Helps to have a guy who's, good 3-and-D guy who can also finish well.
Yeah, how about that poster at the end of the game?
In the clutch.
Absolutely ridiculous. And then they called a charge.
Yeah.
They called a charge. How dare the refs do that?
Taking away another
Ruin
one.
his moment. But luckily they reversed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Possibly dunk of the year.
dunk of the year.
Dunk of the year.
We got 2
So
really
far.
good posters yesterday. Tatum on Giannis,
Oh yeah,
and then
that was ridiculous.
Aaron Gordon in the clutch. That's
in the clutch.
he's got
That's
some
wild.
balls with Jokic open for a pass. He's taking it to the rim. I mean,
Yeah,
it takes a lot of guts.
Nuggets. I think they're the top. They're the team to beat in the West, in my opinion.
Yeah, they have to be
I
at this
agree.
point, looking dominant.
Yeah.
All right, that wraps up our Christmas games. Definitely a good schedule of games that they gave us. It sucked that Booker was out.
And Curry.
And Curry. Could have been a little bit more special with those guys out there. But yeah, let's turn to our All-Stars. This is where it's gonna get
Yeah.
interesting. Got some varying opinions, I'm sure. How we want to start this off? We want to do.
Do we want to go
Caleb,
this way?
do you have an idea? What you want to do?
Conference or guards? I said
Yeah.
We can go in a circle and then
Yeah, All-Star starters.
we can go
guards
West first.
for the West. Yeah. Caleb, what'd you have?
First guy, I got Luka Doncic. He's shooting on the best efficiency of his career. Second in the league in box plus minus. He's the only player besides Michael Jordan NBA history to average 32, 8, and 8. There's really no argument for him not to start. Just the numbers he's putting up, and he has to backpack his team. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Luka's the one guy that you can't not start in the West for guards. 32, 8, and 8, but that's almost 33 points per game. On the otherwise would be almost like the worst offense in the West without him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the worst. Do we want to give both starting guards each of us? Or do you want to do 1-1-1? I said we give both.
You want to give both?
Yeah.
Give
All right.
your other one.
You know, I got Curry. I don't think it's arguable either. He's averaging 30 while being in the 50, 40, 90 club. It's the second time he's ever done this in his career besides his unanimous MVP season. Warriors are 14-12 when Curry plays, and he's the third highest box plus minus. When you watch him play, the Warriors are one of the best teams in the NBA when he's on the court. He's a superstar. Yeah.
Yeah, did any of y'all have any variations in that?
I did not.
No, Luke and
Yeah.
Steph. I just don't know how long he's gonna be out with a shoulder injury.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could affect things, but looking at if he's healthy, he's in.
Yeah, looking at the resumes this season, I can't really see anyone else making it in. I could maybe see Booker if you really wanted to switch it up, but I think those two top guys are clearly above the rest of the guards in the West for that starter spot.
You didn't have John Morant?
Yeah, no John
I
Morant for
can't.
you.
I can't
No
put him
12?
in. He is not scoring the way he was last year. I think he's distributing better than he ever has,
Facts.
but I think he needs to be more efficient. And then I think he's in there, but
I'm glad your bias didn't blind you.
yeah, not right now.
Not this time.
I've been watching him all year. I know he's not scoring the same. I'm not gonna lie.
Do we want to go West forwards or East guards?
Let's do East guards.
East guards?
guards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll start. This is where it gets a little bit interesting.
Yeah, this was hard.
But I, for my first one, had Donovan Mitchell. He's been playing great on his new team of the Cavaliers. It's crazy that he's come off to this such a hot start. Normally people don't adjust to the new teams as well as he is, but he has a great system around him. He has Garland, not playing quite the same as he was last year, but still playing great. He got Mobley, Jared Allen around him. It's really helped him be great. He's the primary ball handler on that team. Straight up bucket, great efficiency this year. I also, as my second guard, I have Jaylen Brown. 3-and-D, but not just 3-and-D. He's putting up 26 points a game. I don't think we can call him 3-and-D anymore. He's a playmaker. He's a bucket. He would be seen as one of the top scorers in the league if it weren't for Jason Tatum also being on his team.
I was wondering who y'all have as the next guy.
Yeah. So, I also have Donovan Mitchell obviously at 1, and despite disliking him, I actually have Trae Young as my second guy as a starter. I mean, I was going back and forth because of Jaylen Brown's capability defensively and Trae Young's lack of defense, but I can't deny the fact that Trae Young is just averaging 10 assists a game, and he genuinely is a very good distributor and playmaker for the Hawks. So that's why I have him as my 2 guard.
Yeah, things
the
are about to
East.
get real interesting as we get down this East list.
Yeah, I
You have
can't.
Trae Young
I
starting.
can't
What
agree.
are
I
y'all's
can't,
thoughts?
You said-
Should we just get into the Trae Young
said you have
conversation
Trae
now?
Young
I can't
over-
agree with Trae Young
You-
over Jaylen Brown.
All right, let me.
Keep going. Go in on him.
All
He
right,
deserves it.
I can't.
Trae Young, this dude is terrible on defense. Make up for his defense. How does he make up for it? Being inefficient on
playmaking.
scoring?
His playmaking makes up for it. I understand that he's been less efficient this year than he has been in the past.
It's
I mean,
awful.
he's shooting
He's
like
shooting awful.
40, but he's still shooting like 44% from the field. And obviously that's less than he's been in the past. Or maybe
Caleb, pull up the
41.
stats.
He's been pulling 41 roughly percent from the field, and he shot 44% in the fast. But he's averaging 10 assists a game.
Listen, he's a liability on defense.
Mm-hmm.
He is an elite playmaker.
Elite.
99th percentile playmaker. His passes are out of this world. He's also, I want to say, he hasn't had the best supporting cast around him this season. DeJounte is still adjusting a little bit.
Yeah.
John Collins, a little bit disappointing, but that could factor into his recent play.
Yeah. Also,
He's shooting 41% from the
Yeah,
field.
41%.
That's. You can't agree with that. When Jaylen Brown he's the second option. Every single time Tatum's had an off night, you just see Jaylen Brown and turn into Superman. I mean,
on the best
he's-
team in the NBA.
on the best team in the NBA, assisting, rebounding, everything. And he's locking up
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
I don't
He's very good on defense, but he also plays like everyone around him is also very good on defense. I mean, they're the best team in the
That's
league,
true.
but
It's a
but
system.
outside of him and Jason Tatum, they still have like the best supporting cast in the NBA. He is good on defense, but Jason Tatum is an elite defender as well. They have elite defenders in the entire team. I mean, he is great, but he has a much better support system than Trae Young has, who, I mean, with his 27.5 points per game and 10 assists, is like helping generate the entire offense for the Hawks every single night.
It is generating the offense, but I think Jaylen Brown just contributes to winning basketball, and it's just contributing to the best team in the East, averaging 26 on better efficiency, better defense. The only thing you can argue against Jaylen Brown would be his playmaking.
And that's all I'm arguing for, is Trae Young's playmaking, is why I think that he should be a starter over Jaylen Brown.
Also, I want to say, or if you have anything to say about
Yeah,
Jaylen Brown, I have another player that I almost put in the starters, but if y'all
Should
want
we
to talk
about it
about
now or just talk about it later?
we can talk about it later.
Okay.
But
Did you have Donovan Mitchell and Jaylen Brown?
Yeah.
I had
Okay.
Jaylen Brown.
So we
Yeah.
all had Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, and you had Trae Young and Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I did.
Okay. We want to do West forwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
West all-star starter forwards. 3 spots. We'll let Moussa kick off this one. What do you
Yeah,
got?
I think the only debate I had was maybe putting Zion here, but I have Jokic, obviously MVP candidate. Anthony Davis, I think before his injuries, also playing at an MVP level. First few weeks this season, he was just terrible. Really, he's one of the most inefficient shooters the last year, and he's turned that around, averaging over 27. And then I think the last one's LeBron. You saw his Christmas Day performance. He's old and he's playing like this. It's not fair.
Crazy.
He should definitely be in that conversation for starter.
Those are your 3? Yeah, I had Zion starting over LeBron. I think LeBron definitely, the only thing I have against him is team record, but it's not his fault. I think Zion, he's leading the 3rd seed Pelicans.
Yeah,
He's
efficient.
He's high efficiency all the
Yeah.
time.
60% from the field.
Yeah. Do y'all have Zion as well?
I have LeBron.
You have LeBron?
Yeah.
So I had Zion, but this was before the Christmas game.
Same.
I think I might give the slight edge to LeBron. He just looked unstoppable. The fact that he's still getting the looks he's getting to the basket. No one like that first quarter in the game, he was just unstoppable. I have to give the edge to him. He's still underrated defensively when he tries. Yeah, he still is really good on offense, and I have to give the slight edge over Zion. Zion, he's doing everything you could ask for. I would probably say a little bit more improvement on the defensive side, playmaking. I would give the edge to LeBron in that area. What are your thoughts, Gil?
I just think I don't know how they are the are they the 4th worst team in the West? The Lakers, or the
Lakers?
3rd? I mean the Lakers.
Bro, they got G
It's-
Leaguers around them,
They
bro.
got G Leaguers around them, but
Third
I think
worst.
if you have 2, I don't think you can have 2 all-star starters, like just being the 3rd worst team in the West. Which LeBron has missed some games and AD is obviously out, but I just think the way Zion he's contributing to winning basketball, the Pelicans are playing so good with him, and he's doing it on amazing efficiency. It was very close for me. I had to think about it for a while, but I did have Zion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everyone had Jokic, Davis, and LeBron, besides Caleb. Red Zion.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
So,
Definitely a good pick. I respect it. Let's go over toward the East. East starting forwards. Malcolm, who do you have?
Yeah, so I think pretty consensus. I had Joel Embiid and Giannis in there, but then I actually had Jason Tatum. It was tough for me between Jason Tatum and KD, but I think that Jason Tatum is guarding, the team's best player is being guarded by the team's best player, and I just can't deny that he's the best player on the best team in the league right now. 61% true shooting, 31, 4, and 8. An elite defender, I can't deny that, so I'm gonna start Jason Tatum, Giannis, and Joel Embiid in my East forwards.
that's what I had too.
So, yeah. What did you have, Caleb?
KD instead of Tatum.
I also had KD instead of Tatum.
Well, okay. It was also I switched it a couple times between them.
Yep.
I had Tatum
tough.
starting And then, yeah, I just think KD, what he's been doing this year is crazy. I'd say the Nets, when they have Jock Vaughn now, they're 20-7, the best record in the NBA. I think that KD, he's an elite shooter, best mid-range shooter of all time this year, shooting 60%. Nets are on a 9-game win streak now.
Yep.
It's crazy, shooting the best efficiency of his career,
Yeah,
which is
it's
crazy.
wild. He's definitely taking up his game this season, showing what he can do. Yeah, he's also taking a little bit of a step defensively. He's putting up more blocks per game than Tatum by, I think, a little
It's
bit.
like 0.8 or something
Yeah,
like that.
he's
0.7.
averaging a decent amount of blocks per game this year. Yeah, he's turned into a two-way player. He's always been a two-way player, but a little bit more this season. He's been unstoppable on offense. Elite shooter, probably the best scorer of all time, and he's showing why this season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I understand the Tatum, especially that performance on Christmas, legendary.
Yeah. I mean, when he obviously, like we talked about when we talked about the Celtics, when he gets going, he looks unstoppable. But also when he gets going, the Celtics just look unstoppable. Best record in the league, but they look like unbeatable when Tatum's on his game. So, it was definitely I flipped mine a couple times actually between Tatum and KD, but then I just thought about it and I was like, I would personally rather keep in the best player on the best team in the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, Joel Embiid, he's leading the NBA in points per game on the best efficiency of his career, while also being an amazing defender. Sixers are on an 8-game win streak now, and have the second best defense in the NBA. And there's definitely not an argument for him not to start.
Yeah, him and Giannis, I really can't see either of them not starting.
For sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I say let's go through the West reserves. Let's just go all the way through. Before we switch back over to the East.
Wanna do the guards?
Yeah, let's
Or-
do the reserve guards.
You want to do those?
I had Devin Booker and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah.
They're just both playing with elite efficiency this season. Booker, been a bucket. There's no really any weakness in his offensive game. He has mid-range game. He has the 3-point game. He can get to the rim. Same with Shai. He's carrying that OKC Thunder team. It's crazy to think that he doesn't really have anyone around him. He's still playing with really good efficiency and really good play style and overall, I don't know, good game. Good game by Shai. Puts him a bit over the other guards that could be in that spot potentially. The efficiency, the volume. How many points per game is he putting up, Caleb?
31.
31. That is crazy. Crazy. To think that he wasn't an all-star last year, all-star snub last year, and he definitely deserves that spot this year.
Yeah, also with Shai, I think, that's my guy, of course. But also something that's been underrated of him is defense. He's 5th in steals per game and gets the most blocks per game by a guard.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, it's definitely been underrated by him. He's definitely putting more effort on that this season, trying to be an all-around player. Yeah, he's put OKC on his back this year, been the most clutch player in the NBA. I'd say, I don't think that's arguable. I'd say if Curry's out for the game, then Shai should get to start. Only argument against him is the record, but
You would have Shai over Booker?
Yeah.
You think the defense pushes him over the edge
well, I think defense and scoring.
in scoring? You think he's a better scorer than Booker?
This season he's been scoring better.
Okay.
I don't think he is a better scorer, but this season and what he's done, we're not doing on who's a better player, what he's done this season.
Yeah, I agree. So what did y'all have?
I had Ja Morant and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I have the same thing as you actually. I have. You can say why you have them too, but I have the same as you.
Obviously, I'm biased, but I just think Ja Morant, we've been top of the West the entire season pretty much. Started off rough, actually, and then we got to the top. But I think he's just making his teammates better every single game. The assists he has every game, near double digits. I think him and Shai both have something over Devin Booker. Shai has scoring and Ja has playmaking. Ja has not been as efficient as Booker, but I think he's taking more difficult shots in the paint. But I don't know. We got a month until the actual All-Star game to see, but I think right now Ja's been better.
Yeah, so I have Shea. Obviously I think that it's pretty safe with averaging 31 and a half
Yeah.
points per game. And then I included Ja simply because, they're definitely close in points per game, although Devin Booker is more efficient. Ja is averaging 8 assists a game, and the Grizzlies are the second seed despite having Desmond Bane being injured for a decent amount of the start of the season. Their second best scorer, and they're the second seed in the West. So I just thought to include Ja because without Desmond Bane, I mean, Dylan Brooks, I don't know about his capability to score, and also I just see
It's
Ja
also
as
loud.
their offense for the most part, and they're the second seed in the West. So I included Ja. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say I also had Ja Morant, but it was basically a tie for me between Book and Ja. I think Ja's just taking a step with his playmaking. I think he's just leading the second. He's leading the second seed in the West, which D Book is also leading. What are they? The fifth seed now, fourth seed. But when Booker plays, the Suns are 18 and 10, which would make them the second seed in the West. So I kind of went back and forth on both of them, but I ended up going with John Morant just because of the record. Yeah. Do you want to name another guy that could be mentioned with them, or
I say we.
I got a guy that could
Nah,
be mentioned with them, but we
not
can wait
yet.
for that.
Yeah, we
let's
can-
wait.
let's
Let's wait.
just
Let's
wait.
wait.
Yeah, let's move on to the West forwards. 3 of them as well. Since I had LeBron, I moved him up into my starters. That means I have Zion coming off the bench for my reserves. Putting up 25 points per game, 26. Yeah, he's been absolutely amazing this season. Stepping into his role. He's efficient. Like he's absolutely insane in the paint. No one wants to see him in the paint. Yeah, he can shoot a little bit, but mainly he gets to the line and gets his dunks. I also had Lauri Markkanen. Took a huge leap this season. I don't know about y'all, but I have Lauri. He's been efficient. It's good to see he's improved from back when he was on the Chicago Bulls. Wish he improved a little bit earlier. Kept him, but yeah, he's been playing really well. Jazz started off really hot to the season, and that was in huge part thanks to Lauri. And I also had Paul George. He's been playing great. Kawhi hasn't been in the roster the whole year, still getting back in the swing of things. And Paul George has had to take the load of the offense. And he's amazing on defense. 3-and-D player. Elevated, obviously, the same kind of thing as Jalen Brown. But yeah, those are my guys. What'd you have, Moussa?
I was the same with Zion. He's been great. Same with PG. He's looking almost back to his OKC self, but I had Sabonis
yep?
instead of Lauri Markkanen. I think his ability to facilitate as a big man is what put my edge over Lauri Markkanen and his efficiency. So
Yeah.
I don't know who else.
I actually had the same as Connor. So I had Zion, Paul George. Obviously, those are the consensus between the four of us. But I had Lauri Markkanen over Sabonis. Simply the fact that I think Sabonis is averaging 18 points a game, and Lauri's averaging almost 23.
Yep.
And the Jazz are obviously better than people thought that they would be this year. And I think that big part of that has been Lauri Markkanen this year. So, yeah, I'm a fan of that narrative.
I would say
like
the
Lauri.
Kings are higher in the standings than the Jazz.
Yeah.
That is true.
You're right. But Lauri Markkanen is the number one option.
Yeah.
Sabonis is not the number one option on his team.
That's true.
I think the only thing that Lauri Markkanen has above Domantas Sabonis is scoring.
Yeah.
Domantas Sabonis, he is doing it more efficiently on 18 points a game, leading the league in rebounds with 12 a game with 6 assists. He's shooting 68% true shooting,
Which is crazy.
Crazy.
Out of this world.
He has really good advanced stats, and he's been a lot better defensively. I think he's been underrated defensively. I originally had Lauri Markkanen, but I decided to go with Sabonis.
Yeah.
I think he's just having a super underrated year.
No, it was definitely close for me. Like considering that, the Lauri Markkanen definitely doesn't show up in the playmaking category, averaging only 2 assists a game. It was almost easy to give it to Sabonis, but I don't know. I just liked the fact that he's able to put up 23, took a big leap offensively from last year, and he really has just been solid for the Jazz. And the Jazz and the Kings both were not expected to be very great at all. I like the fact that Lauri Markkanen came in and he was not expected to lead the team in scoring this year, but he has.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the final 2 guys. That could be any position. Not really any position. I feel like it's pretty consensus who these last 2 guys have to be. Considering there can only be 6 guards total. That make the All-Star team. Caleb, you want to say who those 2 guys are?
Well, I started a draw, so I have Dame. Well, I have Dame and Book.
Dame and Book.
I don't know. I think I'll touch on Dame and I'll let Melkam talk about him, but he's shooting on the best efficiency of his career. Great offensive player. Just needs to be better on the other side of the ball, in my opinion. And they need to win more games. But yeah.
Yeah. So, Dame has been hurt, and we've had I think it's 3-game loss streak, but Dame averaging 28, 7, and 4. And before, I guess a week ago, we were something like 13 and 2 with Dame starting and playing the entirety of the game. So we've been a very winning basketball team. I'm a Portland Trailblazers fan, by the way. But we've been a very winning basketball team with Dame starting. And we've been in a cold streak, but when Dame is starting and Jeremy Grant is playing well, he has not been playing good basketball the last few weeks. When they are playing well, seriously, with our entire starting roster playing, we've been a winning basketball team.
Yeah, the Trailblazers are now 12-9 with Damian Lillard this season.
Yeah, I meant with our entire starting lineup.
Entire starting lineup.
Anthony has also been hurt a decent amount. I think we lost. Dame started and then got hurt mid-game, and then we lost to the Heat, and then we lost to the Heat again and the Suns with Anthony hurt. We've had both of them be hurt. We've had Yusuf Nurkic miss a couple games. So with our entire starting lineup, we've been very good. Obviously, we've lost our 3 last games with our entire starting lineup, so there's no excuse for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Dame, Book, Shea, and Ja, they're all in the same tier. I think you could argue for any of them, and I don't think you could be wrong necessarily. Having amazing years. I think they could start in a lot of other years, but what Luka and Steph are doing right now, they're just insane, just doing numbers that no one's ever seen. It's crazy.
Yeah. For me, I had to put John Morant in my the bottom of my reserves just because of his lack of efficiency on the shooting end. But he really has done everything else for this Grizzlies team, especially with Bane being out a handful of games. And the rest of the guys kind of been underwhelming to start the season. Brooks has been looking okay. Didn't play too well on Christmas. Jaren getting back into the swing of things. Do you think Ja has that leap in him to make the step to push towards the starters?
I think what I watched on Christmas really is all I needed to see. He's confident, getting to the rim. I think he's at his worst when he's going slow around screens and trying to be patient. I think he needs to just get to his spots and get downhill. And that's what he did against the Warriors, and that's how he put up 36. So I think that's how the Grizzlies make a run at the championship if he's scoring like he did there. And so is Bane. So.
All right. That wraps up our West reserves. Let's move on towards the East. And the East guards off the bench. Caleb,
Okay.
who'd you have?
Well, I went back and forth with my stars between Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Halliburton. I think what he's doing right now, just with the eye test, what he did against the Heat the other night, he's just one of the best underrated players. He is a top 5 passer in the NBA, averaging 20 points a game, 10 assists, and 1.7 steals on good efficiency. He has good advanced stats, leading the Indiana team that no one thought was going to be good. They're going to be in the Wembanyama sweepstakes. Yeah, his only argument is his scoring is not high in volume.
Hey, 20 points per game is still really good, especially when you're leading the league in assists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild what he's been able to do this season. To think about the trade between the Pacers and the Kings. Pacers receiving Halliburton and Buddy Hield, but Kings getting Sabonis. Also having borderline all-star season, leading the league in rebounds. Good to see both of those guys doing well. Yeah, the trade looking definitely better for the Kings this season than it looked last season. But yeah, who was your other guard killed?
I had Mr. Kyrie Irving, averaging 26 on good efficiency, being a part of the net success. I mean, we know who Kyrie is. He's just a pure bucket. I think he also has an argument to start. And, yeah.
I had the exact same two guards, Tyrese Halliburton and Kyrie Irving. What did y'all have?
I had Tyrese and Trey. I think Trey was close enough to starting that he was my next option off in the reserves. So I think his facilitating and on a not very good team, but he's making them decent, I think. And Tyrese has just been outstanding. Both of them facilitating at the highest level. So it's hard to put someone else over them, even though Kyrie is having a great year, but I think he needs to score at a higher volume or make better if he's going to
Hey, he's scoring
outplay
at the
either of
same
them.
volume as Trae Young, so both putting around 27.
Exactly, but Trae Young has the facilitating edge by a good bit.
Let's also talk about the
efficiency.
efficiency.
Trae
yeah.
Young's bad efficiency this year. Yeah, he's taken a step down from his previous 2 seasons in efficiency. He started to pick it back up recently in the last 5 games, putting up over 30 on good efficiency pretty much throughout the past 5 games. But for me, I'd give the nod to Kyrie. Just the way he's came back onto the Nets, just letting it fly on great efficiency. He looks like nobody can guard him, really.
Nobody can.
Yeah, he's 6'3", but he can still maneuver around the basket with the 7-footers and still have his shot remain unblocked, which is wild. He can find angles that nobody else can. That's why I had to put him, give him the slight edge over Trae.
Yeah, and obviously since I didn't include Jaylen Brown in my starting lineup, obviously I have him in my guard position here.
Okay,
and then
that's
I
good.
have Kyrie Irving as my other guard. Just because of like the Nets' recent success, being able to just really turn their season around so quickly. I mean, with Kyrie averaging almost 26 points a game. Yeah, I like him at my second 2 guard off the reserves.
You had no wannabe all-star in your guards?
Want to be all-star?
You didn't have him?
Halliburton?
You didn't have wannabe all-star at Halliburton? I don't know. I think Tyrese Halliburton is just a lot better. Like, the way he's playing this year is just crazy with the way I've seen him play. He's got great advanced stats. I think he's better than Kyrie and definitely better than Trae Young, in my opinion. He also doesn't get as much minutes as those guys. Been the best passer with the assists, but yeah.
All right, moving on to the forwards. This is where it got a little bit difficult, for me at least. Malcolm, what do you have here?
For my
Forwards off the bench for the East.
I had Pascal Siakam, averaging 26, 7, and 8.5. And then I had DeRozan, almost 26, 5, and 5. Both of these guys just can score so well. Both of the number 1 options of their teams. Obviously, both of their teams have struggled, but I can't credit those struggles to the 2 of them. They've just played so well through the first half of the season. So, yeah. I mean, 7 assists, 8.5 rebounds from Pascal Siakam, and then almost 26, 5, and 5 from DeRozan. So,
yeah, I guess we don't
those are my
really
2
need
forwards.
to say which one of the Tatum KD pair we left on our bench because one of them had to be on the bench. So,
Kevin.
of
course.
yeah, Kill.
Oh, and Kevin Durant, yeah.
yeah.
I didn't even mention that, but I already talked about, I was kind of going back and forth between who should start.
Yeah, Caleb, what'd you have?
I had Tatum left off, and I had Siakam as well, and then I had Jimmy Butler. Wow, he's played 20 games, and the Heat are 11-10 with him, averaging 21, 6 and 6, and 2 steals, while shooting the best efficiency of his career. He has amazing advanced stats. I think the only argument against him is his scoring. I think he just contributes to winning basketball. We know what he does in the regular season, compared to the postseason. Tries to get other teammates involved, not trying to score as much, get their confidence up for the postseason. I just think with the efficiency and defense and playmaking, it puts him over DeRozan for me. Well, DeRozan, he's listed out as a guard, right?
He's listed as a guard, yeah.
He's listed out as a guard. So I don't know how you did that.
Pulled a magic trick.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you gotta look at the
What's that
NBA
say?
app.
Oh, my fault, yo.
No, it's
Casual.
Oh, you're good.
Sorry.
Casual.
But yeah,
Yeah, well, Caleb, believe it or not, I had the exact same people. We've had a lot of similarities in our list.
Love
I
it.
think our only difference so far was that you had Zion,
yeah.
and I also had Zion I still have it, actually, on my list, but I decided to switch it up. But yeah, Tatum off the bench, obviously. But Siakam and Jimmy Butler, those are the two guys that really stick out to me at the forward spot. You could argue some other guys, definitely. We'll talk about that in our snubs. But Jimmy Butler, you said most efficient year on the offensive end. Yeah, he's been hooping. He's only played 20 games, I think. So he barely made the requirements for us to include him. But yeah, he's been playing amazing basketball. Hopefully the Heat can come back up to the top. Siakam put up 26, a little bit less efficient, but you can't ignore the 26 on the Raptors. No one else is really helping him on the Raptors as of now, so he's really had to do it all. What you got?
I had the same thing. KD easily. Siakam, he had 52 the other night.
Yep.
It's not normal. Jimmy Butler, he's not taking 20 shots a game like these other guys, and he's scoring pretty well. The only person I would have debated with Jimmy Butler, surprisingly, I think it was Paolo. I think as a rookie, he's been playing outstanding, and I think he's going to continue to play like this all year and easily Rookie of the Year. But I think he just deserves some respect for the way he's playing as a rookie.
For sure. He needs his flowers.
Yeah, definitely. There are definitely some other guys who could be in the mix.
Maybe Porzingis. I don't know.
Yeah, someone like that.
We're going to do our 2 additional.
Yeah, let's do our 2 additional. Gail, what'd you have?
I had Trey and DeMar. You have the same ones?
Yes, I did. I'll
All
let you speak though.
Trae Young, averaging 27 and 10 assists. He's putting up really good counting stats. I didn't start him just because of the efficiency and defense. He's a liability on defense. What do you think on Trae Young?
I say he's a star. He deserves to be an all-star.
Yeah.
I just can't put him over some of the guys that are having more of an efficient start to the season. But yeah, he's definitely an all-star in this league. He's proven that. Even if he's not the most efficient, he has that intangibleness to him to get his teammates involved, to really seek the big moments in the game. Like against the Bulls, like he was shooting terrible the whole game, and then he just pulled like 2 back-to-back buckets on us to like seal the deal. He has that confidence that you really just can't teach. And DeRozan, my Bulls haven't been too good this season, but DeRozan has been playing well. Not the same volume as last season, where people were talking about MVP in the middle of the season when we were the 1st seed last season. But yeah, he's still playing well. He's separated himself a little bit from Zach LaVine, who's taking a little bit of a dip this year in volume. But yeah, he's carrying our team. Any given night, you can expect him to get to the line, be efficient from the mid-range. Just a bucket. He does a little bit of everything else, nothing else too great, but he is an elite scorer in the Eastern Conference. So that's why I chose him.
For sure. What'd y'all have?
I mean, so I had Halliburton and actually Julius Randle. averaging 23 points and 9.4 rebounds per game. It was hard between Julius Randle and Jimmy Butler, but I just like Julius Randle. I mean, 23 points per game. I like the Knicks with him and Jalen Brunson, honestly, and when RJ Barrett can play well. But yeah, those are my two guys that are, my two extra guys.
Yeah, I had Kyrie Irving. I left him out of the original piece, but he's just been playing so well. I mean, 32 points tonight. I think if he keeps scoring that high, he's going to end up being one of the top off the reserves. But DeMar DeRozan, both of these players actually have just been hitting clutch shots all year. Both only game winners this month, I believe. I know Kyrie hit one this month. I think
I'm not sure, but he probably has one. He's known to hit those. So
yeah, he's hit a few game winners. But you can't just leave off these two very clutch players, efficient scorers, and just all around just great players for their teams, just contributing to winning basketball.
So did we all have like pretty much the same ones except for Malcolm included Julius Randle. But I think all the rest of ours were just the same but
Similar.
in different orders.
Yeah.
Marketing.
Wait, so who'd you leave off? That we had?
So I left off Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I left off Jimmy Butler.
I can see it. I mean, he's only played 20 games this season, but in those 20 games, he's been absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Do you have Halliburton?
Yeah.
Okay,
He was my extra player with Julius Randle.
Okay.
Obviously only 20 points per game, but
Julius Randle
11
has been
assists.
great. He has been doing as good an efficiency as some of the rest of the guys. But on Christmas he went absolutely crazy. So I can understand why you gave the nod to him.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely deserves his recognition this season. The Knicks, one of the hottest teams in the league, and that's in large part due to Julius Randle and the other guys on the team. But Julius Randle has been that guy for the Knicks.
Averaging 27 in December.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's on the come up.
West Snubs?
West Snubs.
I left off Lauri Markkanen from mine. Had him over Sabonis, leading the Jazz while shooting with good efficiency. Just a step he's taken this year. It was very good. I don't know. I think Sabonis, he's just doing it all over the court. And Lauri Markkanen, I think he's just a better scorer than him. But, yeah, barely was left off the list for me.
Do you have multiple snubs or?
I have 4 snubs.
I have 4 snubs as well. Who are your other ones?
My other ones were Fox, Anthony Edwards, and Jeremy Grant.
Yeah, watch out for Jeremy Grant.
Jeremy Grant.
Underrated.
What about
Very
Simons?
underrated.
You think
Simons.
Grant deserves it a little bit more over Simons?
I'd say so for sure.
Defending.
Yeah. Defensively,
3-and-D,
Yeah.
man. It's crazy.
yeah, basically on the Blazers end, our guards have looked horrid defensively, and Jeremy Grant has just been great for us defensively, especially against the guys that in the past we've seen just take advantage of Yusuf Nurkic throughout the game. I think that just having Jeremy Grant guard those guys has been so helpful for the Blazers this season. So that's why I had him as one of my snubs, and then obviously I think Anthony Edwards as my other snub. We expected the Timberwolves to be better, but so good offensively. So those were my 2 guys that I felt were very close, and Domantas Sabonis, obviously. I was going between him and Lauri Markkanen, and that was very close. I actually originally had Sabonis. So those are the 2 guys I would say were very close for me to making my reserves in the West.
Yeah, those were my snubs as well. It's a little bit disappointing I couldn't fit a Kings player into one of my all-star spots. But yeah, Fox and Sabonis have been doing really well this season. They definitely deserve some recognition. I just had to leave Fox off. Simons and Grant on the Blazers. If they had a better record, you could probably make a argument that they need 2 all-stars. But yeah, and Anthony Edwards, he's been the best player on the Timberwolves. Now that Cat kind of took a step back with the acquisition of Gobert.
I think with Amp, people had these big expectations for him to just make this huge jump from the beginning of the year, be the most improved player. And people don't think he's living up to those. He's not living up to those huge expectations, but he's also taking a small step in every single category: points, rebounds, assists, and steals. Yeah, he's a great player. Best efficiency of his career.
Okay. East Snubs. What'd you have, Moussa?
For the East, I had Garland. I think he's really distributed well on that team. Just watching him play, I think he's had a few 40 bombs this year. He's been scoring really well, which he didn't do as much last year, and people question him being an all-star because of his scoring, but I think he's up that this year, and that's why he's on my snubs. But him, Drew Holiday, I think he's guarding the best player, and he's on one of the best teams, so he's been scoring well. You have to give him his flowers. Got to give him that extra spot. James Harden, back to near his normal self, having great Christmas game. I think he definitely deserves to be in there, averaging 22 and 11 assists. And the final one, I don't know, either Porzingis or LaMelo Ball. I think if he plays more games, he'll be in there, but I think Porzingis has been playing really well on a not very good team, but I think he's done enough to deserve the snub spot.
Yeah, for me, I also had Drew Holiday as one of my snubs. Just a lock defensively and underrated offensively. What he can do, get to the basket and shoot from three. I also had a pair of teammates in Miami that deserve some recognition. And Bam Adebayo, just one of the best talents in the league defensively, and he can play make at the big position. And Tyler Hero, he's shown that he can be consistent on the offensive end and really bring a spark to the Miami Heat. I also had a trio in Washington.
Me too.
You want to talk about that, Caleb?
Yeah, I'll talk about them for a little bit. I think I haven't watched a whole lot of Wizards, but they're all averaging over 20. Beal averaging like 23. Yeah, they're playing good out there. Just not over those other guys, but shout out to them.
Could you name the trio for them?
Beal, Kuzma, and Porzingis.
Yep. They've been amazing. Yeah, taken some leaps. I guess not Beal, but the two other guys have definitely taken leaps. And Beal has taken a leap in his efficiency this season. So definitely give him a nod there. You have a snub?
Yeah, well, so I had two guys that were big for me, and Jimmy Butler, obviously, because I was going back and forth between him and Julius Randle. I mean, for him just to be so good on both ends of the court definitely just helps Miami Heat when they are doing what they're capable of, which there's definitely been parts of the season where they haven't been doing that this season. And then also, for me, LaMelo Ball, I mean, averaging 23 and 9, I think it is crazy, but I can't include him with the fact that the Hornets have 9 wins on the season. So those were two of the biggest guys for me. Yeah, come to think of it, when you guys mentioned Kristaps, I actually didn't have him in my list, but to see like the narrative after when he was with the Mavs about how he was being trashed and it was all his fault, to then putting up almost all-star numbers this year is definitely crazy. So I didn't have my list, but that definitely could be another guy that I would consider to be in that realm.
Where would y'all have James Harden if he had enough games? Who would y'all have him in front of?
I don't know if I would have him as one of my all-stars. It's hard to put him over Halliburton, Irving, Trae Young, or DeRozan for me personally. Just because those guys are either more efficient or putting up more volume. What are your thoughts, Caleb?
Yeah, I think Harden, he's winning games more than DeMar and Trae. I think if Harden was on the Hawks right now or on the Bulls, he'd just be putting up like superstar level numbers, and he's averaging the most assists this year with 11, averaging 21. He's been perfect with him. He's been perfect with Embiid. Yeah, I think he would definitely be an all-star if he had enough games.
Yeah, I mean, if he can continue to play the way he did, obviously on Christmas, I would consider it if he'd played more than 18 games. You know, if he played more, I would consider it. Obviously, because we did a limit of 20 games, I didn't even look into it, but I definitely would consider it. I think he's averaging like 21, but I don't know, definitely can be that guy for the Sixers. So we'll see how it works out when he plays more games.
Yeah, my
Can stay
last
healthy.
snub that I want to give a little bit of a shout out to, if he wasn't on a team that was tanking for Victor right now, is Bojan Bogdanovic. If he was on another team, yeah, you could definitely make the case that he deserves to be an all-star. He's putting up crazy efficiency, carrying the Pistons offense on any given night. He's a bucket. He's underrated. It's just he's on the Pistons, so you can't really give it to him.
Yeah, that was the same case for me with LaMelo Ball.
Yeah. Any other snubs?
No.
Okay.
Not for
well,
me.
that's all we got. Thank you for tuning into our first episode of Crib Talk. It was a pleasure. Things will go a little bit upward in the future. Thank you for tuning in. First episode, be out. Second episode coming shortly. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you.
Peace.